Arizona's latest jobs outlook is positive. Look no further than Governor Katie Hobbs' office for evidence. She's gone on a hiring spree, but there are questions about how she'll pay for the ballooning staff in the executive tower. The Arizona Republic's Stacey Barchenger covers the governor's office. She took a hard look at where the governor's staffing up and why and what it's costing taxpayers. Welcome back to Square Off.
Thanks for having me.
You reported that Governor Hobbs has increased the executive staff size by 40%. That's 40 more people than when Republican Governor Doug Ducey left office a year ago. What kind of jobs is she creating?
A lot of them are things in line with what you heard her talking about on the campaign trail, right? She's expanded by 4 people, which is significant from the one it was before, the Office of Tribal Relations. She has doubled a number of people that work directly with constituents. Those are people that work here in the Phoenix area, in North Arizona, South Arizona, and also staffed up really on policy. She has a significant more number of people advising her on policy than Governor Ducey did.
So are there other benefits to this? For example, does this help her politically by just giving her a larger footprint presence in Arizona?
I mean, certainly you'd make an argument that the more contact you have with actual Arizonans to hear their problems and their concerns is certainly better from her perspective. The political implication, of course, though, is this costs money, and she'll need to win over Republicans if she wants to continue funding this increase in staff.
Is there any mission creep? In other words, her office is taking over duties that other agencies might be handling?
Not that I've really seen. I mean, I think my sense of the number of advisors that she's hiring, she's also changed the structure. She has like 4 deputy chiefs of staff.
4?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Governor Ducey had 1. That she has more input coming in from, those individuals, and perhaps more of an oversight on the agencies.
And another difference from Ducey is the average salary.
Yeah, right. So if you work for the Hobbs administration, you make on average 10 grand more than if you worked for Governor Ducey.
Is that inflation, or just, in Ducey's case, he was always talking about shrinking the size of government. Is that the kind of comparison Hobbs faces here?
I think it could be. They certainly have shown a willingness to pay people, some people better, and then, of course, just bringing on more people at a higher level will boost that number.
So let's talk about the cost. How much is this costing taxpayers?
It's about another $4 million every year if they sustain these salaries. And that's significant because the entire, personnel budget of the office is, under Governor Ducey, it was, roughly $9 million. So under Governor Hobbs, we're up to about 13.
And the cost is, I think you said, reported 52% increase.
Yes, right.
And for perspective, $4 million in the scheme of a 17 or so, $18 billion budget.
Right.
Not a lot of money, but it's still chafing a lot of folks.
Yeah,
at the Capitol.
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, the Republicans who will need to sign off on the budget, they have questions about this, right? How is she paying for the increased staff? We also reported that her office has grown so much, it physically has grown. So they've taken up more space in the executive tower and evicted the Department of Homeland Security, which has...
They evicted Homeland Security?
Yes, so they no longer...
Are they on the street or what?
No, they have an office nearby, but they're no longer in the executive tower, which is this, symbol of the power of government in Arizona. And I've heard, since our reporting that, the symbolism of that is sort of rubbing some people the wrong way.
That is interesting, though, isn't it? The symbolism of expanding government, something Republicans, conservatives object to.
Yeah.
And that's something she might have to wrestle with it. What is the governor's office telling you in response?
This was really interesting. They were very defensive about any characterization that they are growing the reach of government. And I think that speaks to the politics that we have been talking about, that Republicans, don't support this. They noted that overall spending is down compared to Governor Ducey's final year in office. I'll put some caveats on that. It's a calendar year, and that's not really the lingo at the Capitol. We talk in budget years. And Governor Ducey just had more money to spend for specific purposes that inflated his numbers in his final year. So They will make the case, and I expect you'll see this from the Hobbs administration as they pitch her budget, that overall spending is down. They've made cuts in their budget proposals, so they are being fiscally efficient or responsible.
And to be fair, you did compare the numbers in Hobbs' office to Ducey's office over a series of years, because in the final year of an administration, folks leave, it naturally shrinks.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, Governor Ducey left with 106 people in his office, and even in his most robust year, it was 117. So compared to Governor Hobbs, where she's at 146 now, they're not the same.
So the symbolism of that is very interesting. Where does the budget deficit stand right now, by the way? I saw in your reporting you said 1.7 billion?
Yeah, 1.7 billion. So we're looking at
over 2 years.
Yes.
This year and next.
Yes, right. But all of those numbers will have to be settled out in the process that's ongoing or about to start between Hobbs and leadership now.
And that could become a flashpoint.
I bet you it will.
The size of government. All right. Stacey Barchenger, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.